This is a status report on the PFC's 2013 work plan. The work plan was adopted back in March PFC meeting. Rather than take up time at the August PFC meeting, I'm going to use this video to provide a status report. In order to retrieve the work plan, if you start at the forum page and click on administration, this brings up a page with 4 file tabs here. The protocols is the file tab that we want. Second from the bottom is the PFC 2013 work plan, and you just click on download and it will display the work plan. You can print this out, but I think it's a little easier to read online. You can enlarge the print, and makes it a little easier to read. So the work plan is in this format. The first column has the major tasks organized by project. There's a planned start date, a planned finish date, and then a little checkbox in the fourth column to identify those items that have been completed. And be sure to take a look at that because you have done quite a bit of work from January through July. Over on the right side of the page, the format is in the calendar, month by month, listed by quarter of the year. Those tasks that need to be completed in sequence are shown on the calendar with lines connecting them. And as you scroll down, the subsequent pages are just simply displaying the later months in the year. So what is the current status? Let's review that by major activity, starting out with Lost Creek, Boulder Creek. The draft EIS is coming up for the August meeting, so that will be the introduction to the draft EIS, the initial review from the ID team, and discussion from the PFC. In September, we're scheduled to continue that discussion and adopt comments in the form of a letter and provide those comments on the draft EIS back to the ID team and to Keith as the line officer. The second major group of items is Middle Fork Weiser River. That's in the project design phase. We've had 2 good field trips this summer. First from a field trip organized around topics for vegetation treatments. That was in June. The Road and Recreation Infrastructure Committee helped identify topics and tour stops for their field trip in July. That was completed. So the next step for both of those committees is to take the field trip notes that in each case documents the topics that were discussed and need further discussion, and use those field trip notes combined with the recommendations template to draft objectives and recommendations for the Middle Fork project. In the current schedule, the target date for that initial draft from each committee is October 1st. And then following up on that, the PFC would review those committee recommendations and discuss them at the October meeting, and between October and December refine, modify those in order to reach a consensus by the December meeting. That would help the ID team draft their project proposal by January of next year. So the Lost Creek, Boulder Creek, and the Middle Fork Weiser River are both major items for PFC activity between now and the end of the year. Mill Creek Council Mountain has contracts underway. Whitey did a nice job at a meeting in May reviewing the status of the awarded contracts and also the upcoming contracts for 2013 and 2014. That leads into implementation monitoring. On the schedule is a field review this fall by the monitoring committee on Cottonwood contracts. Most likely it will be the public works contract that was awarded last year, the road-related improvements in the Cottonwood area that would provide some candidate sites for field monitoring of work that has been completed. Reminder of two other items. The important part of implementation monitoring adopted in the swim lane diagram is to review the annual CFLRP report. I think it's an important one for the coalition to see that report before it goes to Washington, D.C. And then the other part of that is for the PFC to use that information to help write a PFC report. And the intended audience for that report would be the organizations that are supporting the PFC, the organizations represented by the PFC members, and then also I think the general public will use that report as a way of communicating with the general public about the restoration activities of the coalition and the Forest Service. Under effectiveness monitoring, I think we've got one pending item, and that is for the PFC to recommend its priorities for major effectiveness monitoring projects. So that is an item that remains to be addressed. It was scheduled for this spring, and for a variety of reasons has been postponed, but that is an item that needs to be reactivated. And under that topic then, if you go back to this administration page and the monitoring tab, I think the monitoring committee progress report that was posted last spring still describes the current status of the monitoring committee's activities, and you can click on download to read that and review that status report. So that's the current status of the work plan. As we discuss these project activities in the coming meetings, the work plan will likely change again. The dates within it will likely change again, but the purpose is simply to keep everybody informed month to month on the current status of the projects, the work that's been completed, and the items that still need attention between now and December.